a time to really sit with the discomfort, dig deep, focus on the frustration, get curious about what is bothering you and why, so that you can uncover the root cause, and then the solution will find you. So there is a time to really focus on what doesn't feel good. Sit with that uncomfortable emotion. There's a time for this. In order to solve the problem, discover the new direction, discover the solution, you have to first uncover the problem. So there's a time for that. And then there's a time to get yourself feeling better. In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can do both. All right, number one, focus on the frustration, sit with the discomfort. Go ahead and take some pressure off, take a deep breath when you're feeling uncomfortable and acknowledge the discomfort. Let it be there. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable. Eckhart Tolle talks about this in one of his books, and how it really takes some pressure off to just admit the feeling, acknowledge that you're unhappy. Because when we're trying to act like we're happy, pretend like we're happy, even worse, fool ourselves into thinking that we're happy when we know that we're not, what you're doing is denying yourself. And that feels so bad. But when you instead acknowledge your emotions, you are honoring yourself. And that feels really good. I think of it like kind of babying myself, like just giving myself a warm blanket and letting myself sit on the couch and pull the shades and feel, not so great when I'm not feeling so great. And when I don't know what the reason is, I get curious about it, because something I knew from a very young age when I was battling depression for many years is that if I could just figure out the reason why, I could overcome it. And that is exactly what happened. It took me many years, and I like to help others overcome their challenges and achieve where they want to be faster. And so that's why I do these videos, one of the reasons why. So sit with the discomfort, get curious about how you're feeling, rather than brush off or try to ignore the uncomfortable emotion. Get curious about exactly what it is. Give it a name. I feel unhappy. I feel empty. Whatever it is. I feel unfulfilled. I feel bored. Okay, well, why do you feel bored? Oh, because I feel unfulfilled. Okay, well, what do I need to feel fulfilled? Well, this makes me feel fulfilled. Oh, well, maybe I should just give myself an hour to go do that, and then maybe I'll feel better. This is how the solution presents itself. That's a quick, easy one, and sometimes it can take a little bit longer, but you have to start the process of getting curious. And that first takes acknowledging the uncomfortable emotion and then sitting with the discomfort. I think the very first motivational video I did was sit with the discomfort. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps now. So there's so much power in sitting with the discomfort. Okay, so once you do that, and it could take longer than the process that I'm going through in this video, give yourself the time. It could take just a moment. I've had many experiences where, I had the 20 plus years experience of trying to figure out why I felt depressed in my younger years. And then, for example, when I felt unhappy with one of my jobs and then I decided to go into business for myself, that process took about 2 minutes for me to make that decision. But first, I acknowledged the emotion, which was frustration, and then I sat with the discomfort, and then the solution, then I uncovered the root cause, and then the solution presented itself. And 2 weeks later, I started my own business. So the more you sit with the discomfort and let your ideas, solutions come to you in the forms of ideas, the faster you're going to move through discomfort, and you're going to elevate your state of mind faster, you're going to trust in your instincts faster, and you're going to become happier, and you're going to elevate your state of mind regardless of what is happening around you. So you may not be where you want to be just yet in working towards your goals, but you're going to feel good no matter what, and that's going to draw your goals towards you faster. So number one, focus on the frustration, sit with the discomfort. Let the uncomfortable emotion actually expand in your body, in your mind. Feel it. You can't discover what the problem is if you're denying the problem, and your uncomfortable emotions are there for a reason. Okay, so after you do that, even if the idea, the solution doesn't come to you right in the moment, after you give yourself some time to sit with the discomfort, it will. You've already done the hard work by identifying the problem, and I promise you the solution will find you. Maybe right away, it might take a few steps, but you'll get an idea, and that's your job to trust your instinct and take action on that, toward that idea, go in that direction. And then how do you get yourself feeling better? It can be uncomfortable, and depending on how big the problem is, it can be really hard to sit there and focus on a deeper challenge. It can be very painful. So then after you do that, you want to get yourself feeling better. You can remind yourself that number one, however you are feeling is okay. And number two, it's temporary. it will pass. Even just saying that, it makes me feel better. I use these tips that I'm sharing here myself all the time too, with little challenges and with big challenges. And the other thing that you can do is remind yourself of something that you have achieved, and take yourself through, think back to when you started working on your goal, take yourself back through the process and let yourself feel excited and proud and honored at what you did, what you achieved. I guarantee you have things that you are proud of. I did this exercise myself one day. I was walking around the city one weekend, this was years ago, and I remember that weekend I was really upset. And I remember thinking, this is unusual. I'm not upset anymore. I'm happy now. Why am I feeling like this? And I figured out the reason, and then I got myself feeling better. So I took myself through the process that I spoke about at the start of this video. But then I started to think about, okay, now how are you going to get yourself feeling better? You need to get yourself feeling better. Why? Because we're going to attract toward us how we're feeling. This is why a lot of times, if I'm not feeling my best, I really keep to myself, because I don't want to attract more negative energy. I don't want to give negative energy out. So I won't put pressure on myself to be social. I'll just, do my quiet work at home and pick an area of my business to focus on where I don't have to be as interactive, so I can keep my energy to myself and until I change my energy. And one way to change your energy is to get curious about what you have achieved. And so I started to think about all of the things that I had accomplished since I had moved to the city. And I thought of so many, and I got myself feeling better by the time I got home. This was maybe a 20-minute walk home. I was thinking about everything that I had achieved over the past maybe 12 years at that time. This was a few years ago. And then when I got home, I said to myself, oh, and I also wrote and published 2 books. Wow. So I even forgot about that. I guarantee you have so many things to be proud of, and just letting yourself remind yourself of those things, those accomplishments, and that you did that. That's going to help elevate your state of mind while you're working toward figuring out the solution and pushing through the uncomfortable emotions that you may be struggling with. So I hope that helped. If you got some value from the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.